Greetings from Jacksonville, Arkansas. Today is Wednesday, January the 29th, and the time is approximately 2:04 or 2:05 p.m. In the afternoon. You all, I want to point something out that this is meat from Cashsavers Edwards here in Jacksonville, Arkansas. This is the pork steak. Normally, I don't get the pork steak. I get the pork chops, but someone picked this up here. And so I want to show something to you, y'all. I don't know what's going on in the meat department at Cashsavers Edwards, okay? But pork steak is similar to pork chops. And I want to show you all, and before I show it to you, let me show you. Here's the label. Edwards Cashsavers Pick 5 Pork Steak. And it shows sale by February the 3rd, 2025. Okay, and let me just say the date, because for some reason I'll be saying the wrong year. Let me be clear that we are in the new year of 2025, okay? And so just want to clarify, today's date is Wednesday, January the 29th, 2025. So time goes by so fast that sometimes I will accidentally say, you know, the wrong year. So you all look at the condition of this pork steak. Look at how thin this is. It's like cut like a sheet material. Y'all look at this. Look at this. Look, it won't even hold together. Look at how thin this is. Y'all, this is not cut properly. This should have been set to medium cut. Look at this. It's cut thin like sheet material. And so, you know, I'm from the South, y'all. I grew up on a farm. And so whenever you have meat, whether it be pork chops or pork steak, it should not be cut like this. Look at this, y'all. Look at how thin this is. This is pitiful. So we need to get these terrorists up out of our countries. Pork, when it's fresh and it's cut right, it's delicious, just like anything else. But if you have a terrorist devil that is tampering with our pork meats and whatever the deal is, then you may not enjoy your pork. So y'all, look at this. Look at this. I just wanted to show you all. Look how thin this is. I know that you can buy thin cut pork chops, but this doesn't specify thin, so that it should be medium cut. Y'all, this is garbage. Like the way that they cut it, this is terrible. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna bake this for someone here, and I actually will be using, because this is pitiful, okay? So I'm looking for medium to thick cut pork chops. Nothing thin like this, y'all. Look at this. Seeing is believing. Look at how thin this is. The camera doesn't do justice. Who the hell eat pork chops that is cut thin, like sheet thin, okay? Now I understand that like you can buy certain steaks, like flame steaks, that's cut real thin to make like a fajita or something like this. But y'all, this is ridiculous. So what I'm gonna do here, what I have done here, and I'm getting ready to put some onions and pure garlic in here. I already have the other seasoning. I have some neck bones in here, and the neck bones look good, okay? So that is what gonna be the main thing. But this is not worth me taking it apart. See, usually I take the meat apart because I don't like the little pad that drains the blood on the meat. So I'll open it up and put it like in a freezer bag and put it in the freezer. And so y'all, to my surprise, look at this mess. Somebody don't want us to enjoy ourselves. Y'all, look at this again. I know I don't have my gloves on, but look at how thin this is. Look at this. The bone is just flabby. Look. The meat is flabby. Look. When you pick up a pork chop, it should keep its shape. It should not be flabby like this, or even a pork steak. Who cut this meat in the meat department like this? You need to set. They need to set their cut. They need to change and adjust the cut of meat because this is too thin. This is way too thin. This is not even edible, really. I'm gonna go ahead and season it up and bake it, but I won't be eating it. I'm gonna eat the pork chops and stuff. So y'all, this is crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, y'all, I just wanted to share this video with you all. Just pay attention to, if there anyone else have noticed, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. I seen a video on YouTube a while back where someone had purchased a whole bunch of meat from somewhere. And they had everything, ribs and stuff. And it was an African-American young woman who said that the meat stunk so bad and it had turned colors. And she had spent a lot of money. She was getting ready to throw down, right? But she had to end up taking all the food back to Walmart or wherever store she purchased it from. Y'all, there is some evil demons and entities that have been let loose in America. And I'm so glad that ICE is in our immigration, our security forces is rounding up the terrorists. Okay, so you all, the person filmed the rotten meat, and then there's also, I've seen videos of people even filming. Costco usually is top-notch stuff, but they even film worms and parasites crawling on salmon fish at Costco. So I'm pretty sure my question is that I was going to ask you all if any of you all noticed that there's been a decrease and decline in the quality of the meats or the cut of the meat. So I would recommend that Cashsavers Edwards here in Jacksonville, Arkansas, y'all need to change the blade on your, when you cut the meat. You need to fix it to where it's not thin sheet. You need to make it to where the meat, when you cut that pork, that is cutting out thicker chops than this. This is not a proper pork chop, okay? That's not right at all. This is wrong. So I don't know who's working in the meat department, but I would suggest that you change the blade on your saw or knife or whatever it is that you use to cut the meats with, to where it's thicker, where it cuts a thicker piece of pork steak and a thicker piece of pork chop. This is the same way that the pork chop was when I got Cashsavers Edwards the last time. So I'm noticing that the quality is not the same. So I'm so glad that ICE is getting the terrorists out of our countries. I'm not saying that all foreigners are terrorists, but like the illegal aliens. And then people who don't respect other people's birthrights and customs and freedoms and stuff. And that they want to change folks to what they are and then want to tamper with our food supplies and the quality of our pork and everything like this. One thing I've found out, I can respect other people's cultures and stuff. And but you need to always be true to yourself. If sure, we can learn from other cultures, recipes and stuff and whatnot, but when you sit up and you not be true to yourself, you're gonna miss the whole, the whole 9 yards. Okay, so you're gonna miss out on life, for so to speak. Okay, y'all, the neck bones have started boiling, and let me put this one down, and here's where it can be submerged in a liquid. So I did season these. Now y'all look at the neck bones. They're, pretty decent cut here for the most part. And sometimes the neck bones don't be cut right, but this is going to be better than them pork steaks and stuff. So y'all, I'm going to put some minced garlic in here. Excuse me. Excuse me, while I'm put some minced garlic in here and some onions. And so that's boiling, and probably make some mashed potatoes and baked beans or something to go with it, or some rice. I also have some gizzards, you guys. This is going to be the best thing here. So I got the gizzards. I like to boil the gizzards for like an hour and 30 minutes in seasoned water. Add some white rice to it and fix it with hot sauce. Sometimes I'll boil them until they get tender and then drain the liquid off of them, batter them up, and fry them and have tender chicken gizzards like we used to get back in Durmont, Arkansas from Junior Food Mart store, one of those convenience stores. Okay, and so, you know, in addition to fish and other stuff, it's good to have a pick 5 if it's cut right. So someone had picked this up, and I would have looked. Sometimes you can't really tell when it's in the plastic how thick it is, but I would have saw that this was cut too thin, that this is not a healthy pork chop or a pork steak, okay? So I'm just going to bake it anyways, and I have the oven on. I'm going to season it up. Y'all, just so you know that I did season the pork chops with some, not pork chops, but the neck bones with some Lawry seasoning salt, some Maggi chicken flavored bouillon, some red peppers, some Italian seasonings, and I did throw in some cloves in there so it can have, you know, a very rich flavor. Okay, you guys, with that note, I'm out. I guess I should call this is not exactly a grocery haul, y'all. It could be considered to be a grocery haul, but it's not really a grocery haul, y'all. This is, this video is going to be titled, why is the pork steaks and pork chops cut super thin at Cashsavers Edwards? Okay, so people would know, y'all, look, again, look. Ain't that pitiful? Does that look like a pork steak to y'all? Y'all, look at how it's hanging. Look at that. Look how thin that mess is. Look at that. Why would they do this? Why would the enemy do this? So, seeing this, believing, I want to encourage everyone that if you get meat, and you can actually take it back if you want to. Is it even worth taking it back? But y'all, look, if you get meat and it's not cut right, you know, if it stinks, if it's smelly, whatever the deal may be, pick out your phone, your camera, and begin filming this stuff and date it. And let the public know what's going on at your local grocery stores and stuff, you know. Hopefully the government can get, you know, our security under control and get the devils out of here. So, you know, anyways, I'm going to leave the immigration stuff for another day. I'm out.